So shout out here to Jordan Chariton of Status Coup News. Everybody go subscribe to Status Coup on YouTube and also follow him on Twitter. He had an interview here with Cornel West. And Cornel West said something really interesting, and they should have made news, but nobody really picked it up because they're trying to bury that this guy even exists. But Cornel West talks about how he was approached by the Democrats because he's running as an independent. And listen to this.
Can you specify, if you can, you mentioned offering positions, resources. Were you offered a position in the Harris administration? Any financial incentives to drop out?
Oh, I mean, there was definitely various kind of offers. I won't go into the concrete details of it. I really won't, because I don't even want to make that the focus.
Well, let's just say they did not offer you the janitor's position. They offered you something relatively high up.
Well, I don't think it was that high up, because believe me, brother, the highest position in the empire, they can't say a word about genocide. For me, it's just a place in Dante's Inferno, man. And that's the lowest litmus test of morality, to oppose genocide. And when you deny genocide, when you actually enable genocide, that cannot be the only option to fascists.
Right. Did they just one more on this? Did they offer you? Did they offer you a cabinet position, a lower position, and offer to pay off any of your campaign debt?
Well, they offered serious substantive conversation about all of those that could lead toward.
That's really fucking interesting to me, because remember, there was apparently there was some reporting. It's been disputed, but there was some reporting that said RFK was trying to get a meeting with Kamala. He met with Trump, of course, and of course RFK ended up endorsing Trump. But he also wanted to meet with Kamala, but the Kamala campaign was like, fuck off. We don't want to meet with you. But according to Cornel West, they did meet with Cornel West, and they were talking to Cornel West, and they were trying to make a deal with Cornel West, which is interesting. And then, of course, that begs the question, I wonder if they reached out to Jill Stein. I kind of doubt that they would reach out to Jill Stein. A lot of the top Democrats still blame Jill Stein for Hillary Clinton losing. So I doubt that they would reach out to her. Although, that's an argument that maybe that should be all the more reason for them to reach out to Jill Stein. That if you think this person cost Hillary the election, you want to make sure that this person doesn't cost Kamala the election. So you might want to sit down and take the concern seriously. But apparently, Cornel West rejected it out of hand, right? So, I mean, let me ask you. We just covered the thing with RFK, where RFK, he had said the most scathing, critical things of Trump, and, seemingly on like 70 to 80% of issues, he thought Trump was just a flat out sellout, right? And then he ended up bending the knee. And then that begs the question, well, why? Why did that happen? And so what do you think Cornel West should have done? Should he entertain the meeting? Should he make very specific and clear demands and then make a deal, right? Should he say, look, I'll join, but you have to promise to cut off, and I want it in writing, all weapons to Israel. And we don't even need to go public with it at this moment, but I want that deal. And then when the time comes, if you don't do it, then I'll show the world, look, we made this deal and you went back on it. Or do you think he did the right thing effectively? I'm curious what you guys think of this. Because with RFK, I don't think endorsing Trump makes any sense, because he's against him nominally on 70 to 80% of issues, according to his own words and the stuff he says. With Kamala and Cornel West, I don't think they disagree on 70 to 80% of things, right? I don't think they do. I think maybe they disagree on 50 to 60% of things. And he says genocide is the bare minimum moral test, and they're failing it. And then it's like, okay, so why not make that the crux of a potential deal, right? Why not, hey, you have to cut off the weapons to Israel. That's my only condition, and I need it in writing. And then I will, in theory, endorse you in that scenario. And then if you go back on it, I'm going to show the world that you went back on it, and then let the chips fall where they may. Or do you think he should have rejected him out of hand? I guess with Cornel West, RFK at his best was polling at 20%. And then towards the end, he was polling at 5%. 5% is nothing to scoff at. It's really not. That can make a decent difference, right? Cornel West is polling at 1% or less. RFK was getting on a decent number of ballots, a shockingly high number of ballots. I didn't think he would have success on getting on almost any of the ballots. Cornel West, I don't think he's doing nearly as well with ballot access either, right? He's got some, but I don't think he's doing nearly as well. So then that begs the question, well, what's your ultimate goal then, Cornel West? And I'm genuinely curious. I'm genuinely asking, because I don't think Cornel West at this late date thinks he can win. I think if you asked him at the very beginning when he announced his run, he would have said, I think I could win. I think he would have even said he could win after he left the People's Party and went as a Green, and then he left the Green and went as an independent. Even when the first time he went independent, on that date, I think if you asked him, he's like, yeah, I can still probably win. I can spark a movement, etc. Now I don't think he's under any illusions. I think he knows that he can't win it. And so then that begs the question, like, what's exactly the point of continuing to run? What goal are you trying to achieve? And I mean, I guess he would say a messaging campaign to shift like the moral landscape in the proper direction, which is like, okay, fair enough. But if you're offered a meeting with Kamala Harris, and if you have those substantive conversations, right? And maybe he did, which, by the way, if you did, tell us. Tell us that you said, hey, I'll back you if you stop sending weapons to Israel. And they said no. Tell us that if that's the case. Right? But he didn't say that, so we don't know. We have to infer like what the conversations were like. But it sounds like, according to his answer, that there was conversation about wiping out the campaign debt. There was conversation about position in the administration. And so I'm curious what you guys think would have been the right move for Cornel West to do is, because again, he's polling at 1% or less. He's not on that many state ballots. Honestly, the fact that they gave him a discussion at all is kind of surprising to me. I would have guessed that they would treat him more like Jill Stein and like RFK, where they're like, piss off, we're going to win this without you type stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the right move for him to do is, but I find it interesting that he rejected it out of hand, especially if the genocide is your main pressing issue, which makes perfect sense that it is. Well, then it sort of might be incumbent upon you to do anything and everything you can in your power with whatever influence you have to fix that, or at the very least make it less bad. Do whatever you can. That's your part. And is the answer in that scenario to just say, fuck off? I don't know. I'll leave it up to you guys. You tell me. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.